Hey guys, Ben here, and today I'm going to do a little bit of a different twist on what I'm talking about, and it's going to involve a multiple plethora of subjects, I guess you would say. But to start off, I want to introduce you to somebody, and this is Mark Lybarger. And Mark is one of my best friends, has been for 20 plus years, and Mark has been very integral here just lately in some of the things going on in our whitetail edge world. And, you know, me and Mark own some property together. We've owned some farms together in the past, and we've just done stuff like that together, hunted together a long time. And we're more like brothers than we are buddies. But some things have happened recently that we kind of want to bring to the table, and we want to talk about it so that I think you as whitetail edge fans and just general people that don't know out there are going to be excited. And the first thing is Mark actually owns a company. It's called Advantage Ag and Equipment out of Mount Vernon, Ohio. And that's this tractor sitting behind you is part of one of the things that, you know, we've always talked about on whitetail edge about, you know, using New Holland and whitetail or Advantage Ag and Equipment. And this tractor here is, you know, a new tractor this year. It's a Boomer 45 model. And it's been given to Whitetail Edge to use for doing food plots and things like that. And through Mark and New Holland, the deal was structured to where we can do this and try to show you some really good advantages to the setup we have behind us, and you know, really why we like this tractor and why we like New Holland. So, you know, a little bit more about Mark though. Like when I first met Mark 20 plus years ago, he was just a young guy, and I knew that Mark was just one of those quality guys. So like Mark and I were just talking, and when he was 17 years old, he had his first rental house. So that's been Mark's kind of focus his whole life. Like he's just been, he knows how to have fun, but he's been very focused on certain goals in his life. And Mark has done so many different things, and, you know, from owning crop insurance companies to starting companies like this, a bunch of real estate that he owns, and, you know, apartment complexes, just different things like that that he's always done. And the coolest thing that I want to talk about is the ventures that we have going on now. And to some of those out there that may not know this, there's been a company started, and it's called American Pride Outdoors. And this was a name that me and Mark came up with sitting one morning having a cup of coffee. Yep. We were just having one of our little meetings that we typically do, and we came up with this name because an opportunity had come in our lap to purchase a company, and that company was NOVIX Tree Stands. And after a lot of deliberation and me and Mark talking, and however you would say it, we decided that Mark was going to be the guy to buy NOVIX. And so Mark bought it. And now Mark is the CEO, and he's the guy behind it. He's not exactly the face of it because, you know, the people that were involved in it before, Mark is that kind of guy that he wants to be able to still showcase their creativity. And I don't know, I guess, Mark, you can kind of explain that side of it to us, to the fans, like what's going on here with NOVIX itself in general. And then we'll kind of maybe spread on to the American Pride a little bit, what's going to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. NOVIX is obviously, you know, went through a rebranding and stuff phase back there a little while ago. And now that I'm involved, we obviously want to expand it. We want to talk about innovation moving into 2023 and 24. But the people are just amazing, and that's what drew me to the company. You have to believe in what you do, and I believe very strongly in the people and the product, and obviously believe in supporting American jobs. So, you know, with everything that's going on in the world today and everything, you know, our kids need jobs someday. So our families and our children have to have an opportunity, and the more money that the companies send overseas is less opportunity for everybody's children in the future. So it's more of about a passion. You know, when Ben actually came up with the name American Pride, and as soon as he said it, I was like, yep, that's the name. It's just one of them aha moments, because it's the truth. And I think it's really important. We all talk about it, including me, but you also have to put your money where your mouth is eventually. And so that's been a really good thing for me to see what American manufacturing costs, but also to see the people making the product and the passion and see their families and their kids. You know, it makes you have a lot of pride in what you do, and it's been wonderful. It really has been.
Yeah, it's been a neat thing. Dylan, you want to grab one of there's a NOVIX right behind you there. You want to grab that so we can bring it up here? It's been a cool transition, and it's been, you know, neat to see how the Weavers have, you know, which were originally, they started NOVIX, you know, that brand, and, you know, then Mark come into play. So, but, you know, a lot of you know what, you know, a NOVIX is, but this is just one of the setups that I have set up for backpacking. You know, it's basically a cast aluminum stand, and with a special recipe behind it. And there's been some changes made even for this year. This was a model for last year, and a set of sticks, you know, 4 3-foot sticks. But it's amazing, you know, I mean, this is just a super light stand, and it's a great product, and it's super quiet, really easy to handle and do things with. And, you know, as mobile bow hunters, it's, you know, that's what we take pride in. And for me, as a hunting guy in the whitetail edge world, being USA made to me is super important. You know, and not everything that we use is USA made, nor really can it be sometimes for it to just make sense.
Yeah, yeah.
But for this product, the actual stand that you're standing on, and the pegs and everything that you're going up in your life is depending on, it makes me feel good to know that the actual people putting this together are Americans that actually hunt themselves. They're all in the same factory every day together, drinking coffee together, talking together. And it's really not even a factory. It's more of a warehouse where parts get distributed into from the places that are manufacturing them in the USA. And then they're assembled right there at the NOVIX plant, and makes things really awesome.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of business with a lot of different communities and companies and families to make the product. So we want to source all our bolts in the United States. We want to source all of our cabling, all of our steps, all of our anodizing, everything about the tree stand. We first and foremost is, can we get it made in the States? And that's an important thing for us going forward. And the second thing is customer service to everybody that supports us or anybody that has an issue. A lot of companies that you bought products off of, you think it's a good product, you bought it, but then you have an issue and you don't get any communication, or you don't get the problem resolved. Customer service is number one, because we have to sell you multiple different tree stands over your lifetime. Hopefully, I'm not, you know, we don't want you to just buy one and say, you know, I had an issue, but you know, I called them and they didn't take care of it. So if there's ever an issue, I can assure you that that's of the utmost importance, and that's lost in a lot of companies that everybody does business with today. So,
you know, for me, it's really cool that, you know, one of my best friends now owns a company that I've worked with for a while. And, you know, then for that, and we were flattered that that company approached us about helping them. Yeah. You know, like they thought they valued that what we did was maybe would be a good fit for them, and to help, you know, get them turned around and headed in the right direction, because they had some changes going on in their company. And so now I think what's to come in the future with NOVIX is going to just blow people's minds. Do you not agree, Mark? I mean, so like, the conversations we've had, and you've got two, and everybody involved, everybody that's in the company itself are just diehard Americans. Yeah. And so like, that's what we need right now. Like, we need this pushback in this country, and we need to bleed red, white, and blue. And if we don't, this country's just it's gonna keep heading the direction that it's heading, and it's not good. So we need guys like Mark to be the business owners, to hold fast and make those decisions that we're going to source our stuff in America, and we're going to give employment and take care of people's families, and we're going to do these things here as much as we can. And we need, you know, the customers. We need people out there like you that work hard for your money to understand that it is going to pay off someday by putting your money in American-made products, or dealing with business owners that own these companies in America. You know, not every company we deal with on Whitetail Edge, not every piece of their product is built in America, because some of it's really kind of hard to have done. But for the most part, anybody that does machining and a lot of that kind of stuff of our products, it's made right here in the USA. And I think with Mark, you know, and us talking about like the company that basically is the mother company is American Pride Outdoors, and what's to come there is what I think is exciting that we've talked about. And I'll let you kind of talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we want to make, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is quality. Everything's expensive anymore, and we want to try to put out the highest quality product and innovation. So quality and innovation are two things that come to mind with anything that we want to put our hands into. I don't want to make the same thing the same way. We want to make it better. And that just comes down to who I am as a person. I want to make the highest quality, the safest product that I can make, right down to the aluminum. You know, we can make this stand almost too light if we go too far with it. So there's a fine line there between, you know, how light is too light and also the strength and durability. So this is a tree stand that it's going to last 25, 30 years. I can't tell you how many metal, Chinese, Asian tree stands that I've put into trees that I don't have today. They've rusted, rotted, cracked when I was in the tree stand and probably threw it out of the tree. I've done that before a time or two. So because it cost me a deer. And I'm just like everybody, you know, I've bought other products from other places, but with everything that's gone on in the world, that's why this was so important to me, because my mindset's changed as I've aged to the point where I want to do something for the employees in America, and I want to bring back American manufacturing, right? So you can't do that without owning the company and keeping that desire and that fire alive. So because it's too easy to go build something cheaper, and as consumers, I just want to encourage you to understand that we're trying to make the highest quality product at the right price, and it's always going to be a little more expensive to be built here. But I won't apologize for that, because this is safe. This is safe. It's made very well. It's built very well, and we take great pride in the product. And so, but moving forward, there's going to be a lot of innovation. I think everybody should pay attention over the next 12 months, probably. I would say starting in 8 months. 8 to 24 months is going to be pretty exciting with all the different products that we have coming out. Somewhere in the neighborhood of, not all of them are big products, but probably somewhere in the neighborhood of up to 15 now, I would say. And every couple weeks, it seems like we're working on and engineering new ones as well. So it's not going to be the same old tree stand with the same old sticks and the same old setup moving forward, which is probably the thing that I'm most excited about above all else. The gloves are off now, and we can go after and innovate products, and that's what's super exciting for not only me, because I love it, but for the consumer. I want you to look at that product and be like, I have to have that. And if you don't, then we need to go back to the drawing board. So
yeah, it's more of a, how do you say it? It's like buying, you know, a low-end model to a top-end model in any kind of machinery or, you know, a brand. And we, you know, we've really prided ourselves at Whitetail Edge, or at least I have, as Ben Rising, as to only partner with companies that I truly believe in, no matter what may be on the table. If I don't believe in the product, I don't want to push it to the people that support my show or that watch it or that take to heart what I say and are going to do what I say. So I don't want to risk somebody's life by telling them, hey, I'd hunt out of this stand and it's really a piece of crap. But the NOVIX has been, it's one of the best stands I've ever sat in, you know, as far as solid and quiet and just well built, will last forever. Just a super great stand, and with the innovation like Mark was just talking of what's to come, will blow your mind. And I think it's going to change. I think it'll change everything.
Yeah, that's the goal.
You know, and just different designs for the same stuff plus different material. I just think it's going to be great. And we have other ideas in the works of products that we want to bring to the market under American Pride, and become this American company in the United States in the hunting industry, which is a very hard thing to do.
Very difficult.
I mean, it's super hard. It's
everybody tells us we're crazy.
Yeah,
because they can't do it because we're not going to get the support of people wanting to spend that money. But as the costs have risen in China, though, too, and the costs are kind of going up everywhere. But my question, and the one thing I would encourage people, which when I was younger I probably didn't think about it as much, but now that I've aged and I have a family, it becomes more important, is why do you want to trust your life 20 feet in the air to a cheaper product? To a cheap product, I would say. You know, that should come into play. You know, it's a very, very, very big deal to trust your life to a product that's well built. And so that would be my only thing to encourage you, is to really focus on the specs and the manufacturing part of it, because if you do, you'll definitely know what you're paying for. You'll for surely see what you're paying for in the price, if you compare anything.
Yeah, and I think it would blow people's minds as to actually what the bottom dollar is that it costs NOVIX to actually make one of these stands.
I told you the other day.
Yeah, I mean,
blew his. My bed's like, what? Yeah.
That's what it actually. That's your cost, even. Like, wow.
Yeah.
And so that's how hard it is to make something here in America right now, and that needs to change. And you know, obviously, Trump was trying to change that. But now we've got the greatest failures ever in office, so that's not helping things. And until that can change, you know, it's still going to be a little bit rough because aluminum is so high right now. Correct?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gone up what percentage?
Oh, it's gone up way more than double. It's well over double what we were paying last year, and the whole thing's aluminum. So I mean, everything, the steps are anodized aluminum. You know, everything on the stand pretty much is aluminum. The cables are galvanized so they don't rust. One of the biggest issues, and one of the biggest issues in the hunting industry, is these cables do need replaced, yeah, for sure, and it's in your manuals, but most other stands are not a galvanized cable, and they're not as thick, so they wear down over time. So as they're out there in the weather, you're going to step on that stand for the first time that fall, and that cable can snap, and it's going to snap right where the eyelet goes in. So it's going to snap right in the same place normally, more than likely. So they do need to be replaced no matter what stand you use. But we try to have a galvanized one so we don't have nearly those issues at all. So very important. You know, we could buy a cheaper cable, but if I wouldn't sit in it, I wouldn't expect you to sit in it. And that's always been the motto of the company. The product and the quality has always been very exceptional, which is why it was appealing to me. So.
Yeah, for sure. And the people that are there already, like Jeff Weaver, you know, and the people that are, you know, behind the scenes and kind of running the company, and they really care. You know, Jeff is, we call him Little Weave, but Little Weave is super smart. He's, you know, and he's coming out of his shell now too, because he's becoming a different person, and he's got a different kind of responsibility, and he's a great solid person to have behind that company every day. And you know, and the company is located basically just outside of Peoria, and it's a great location, great place, and it's right in the Midwest. But I guess we just can't stress enough to people right now what being an American needs to mean to you, and where you need to put your support. And you know, from all the companies that we deal with, you know, that are owned by, like Black Widow Deer Lures, owned by Janice and Andy, you know, they're right in Tennessee, and they work their butts off every day themselves in a building, you know, filling these bottles, working with their farms that provide the deer urine and the specs that they need. And you know, they care so much about their product that they have a deal with their dealers that once fall is over and deer season is done, whatever they didn't sell, they ship back to Andy and Janice, and they get reimbursed, because they don't want that stuff on the shelf. They don't want 5-year-old deer pee on the shelf like you find in Walmart, you know, that's an off-brand, or not an off-brand, but very popular name brands, but do not pride their quality like somebody like Black Widow does. So we want to support people like that, like Cobra Archery, you know, Jake and Melissa, you know, just super people that own a small company that is becoming bigger. and they just pride themselves on engineering. Prime and G5, right in Michigan. Those people work every day in those factories, CNC machines, and make those risers. And, you know, it's just awesome to work with people. Rogue Bowstrings. I mean, we can drive 45 minutes from here, and we can pull into that factory and walk in there, and there's 10 people in there making strings right here in America. That's the stuff we need to focus on. And I could list HHA, a great company with sights and stabilizers and rests, and made in USA, machined right here, all their workers. You need to check these kind of people out because it means something. Redneck Blinds, you know, in Missouri. Just, I can go on. And, you know, so it's just very important to think that way, I feel. And I'm just excited about it. I'm excited that, you know, Mark's one of my friends, and that, you know, the opportunities that are going to be there, you know, through American Pride Outdoors and Whitetail Edge being a part of it, and the people that Mark is meeting in the industry now and getting to develop relationships with. And I think, Mark, what would you say is some of the three biggest, just name a couple things that you've really learned about the hunting industry since you've started in it? Because, like, you always saw me dealing with this over the years, filming, and, you know, everybody kind of has a perception, but now that you're in it and it's a lot different than you thought, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely a lot different than I thought. Some in a better way, some in a worse way, obviously, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, and that's it. Be honest, because that's what this is about, to kind of.
Some of it's bad. Some of it's about the money. Some of it's about cheapness. You know, yeah, I'm not gonna. You know, I wouldn't spend $3 more to get that built here because, you know, the big box stores don't want to pay me any more money because they're trying to sell the cheapest products that they possibly can. It's the Amazon mentality, I call it. What's the lowest price? But then we complain because you know, there's not enough good jobs and college debt's too high and all these things. Well, you know, my goal is much more based around quality. And so to the point where, again, your children need a job someday. You got a little guy that loves to hunt. Well, he might love to be in hunting. He might love to make bowstrings someday. He might love to make redneck blinds. He might want to buy a company someday, you know, so, or start his own. So those are things that are important to me, I guess, that the industry itself is a lot different than what I had anticipated. It's a lot smaller than what I anticipated. It seems like a really big industry, but it's really a tight industry and a tight-knit community within the products and the manufacturing and stuff like that that's out there. But for the most part, I've learned there's really, really, really good people, and there's really, really not so good people.
People to run from?
Yeah, and so you get really, really smart to that really quick, obviously, and it's not my first day, but people will make and break you in life in general. So, you know, spouses, employees, companies you work for, right? Bosses that you work for. So ultimately, you need to focus on the people that you're around. Is ultimately, I feel like, the most important thing in life. And I've been around Ben for 20 plus years, and again, we're like brothers. And you know, he's the one that actually brought the opportunity to me. So it was like one of them things where who you surround yourself with matters in life and in business. And I can assure you that as we move forward, we will only surround ourselves with the best quality people that we possibly can, regardless of the financial gain of dealing with people that we shouldn't deal with. So morally, we have to make good moral decisions when we're dealing with that, because at the end of the day, I gotta sleep at night and I gotta feel comfortable with the people that I want to do business with. So,
and I think too, one thing that makes this good is, like, you know, we've both come from kind of the same background, rural communities, farming. You know, Mark's dad owns a big beef cow operation. Mark has farmed his whole life there, or his whole life. You know, now he has ag dealerships. He had a crop insurance company. You know, he knows what rural people deal with every day. And I've cut timber my whole life since I was 17 years old, worked in the woods. You know, Mark would come and visit me on logging jobs when I would work in his area. And, you know, he'd see how hard I'd work and what I had to go through to make the living I made till, you know, to get to the point where we are now. And I still am in the timber business, you know, and buy timber every day.
Forgot a gun, but could hear a turkey.
Yeah.
How far are you away? You got a gun with you?
But we've had some great stories, and we've hunted together all over the place. You know, a cool story is me and Mark used to hunt together in a place out in Illinois. And, you know, this was 20-some years ago, 18 years ago. And we used to sit there and go, man, this is like the coolest area ever. And we just loved it. And we always talked about it for years. And then now we own 300-some acres right in that neighborhood. And we never, ever thought that that would happen. And it's just cool how the Lord works in your life and how good things come to those that try to live their life right for the most part. You know, I've definitely made some mistakes. We all have. And, you know, I guess you'd say on those mistakes that I've made, I've tried dearly to correct those in my life personally, and, you know, through God and, you know, developing that relationship. And I think that's really brought me full circle, and it's kind of like taken me to another level as far as like where Whitetail Edge may be heading, you know, and to deal with people like Mark, you know, and to deal with people like New Holland and NOVIX and just all the great companies and the people that we deal with, and who knows what's to come. You know, we're getting ready to bring out to the people and our fans. We're going to work with NFP Insurance Company, and it's going to be an outdoor insurance program that's going to help people like you as hunters that want to be able to lease land or have insurance. It's going to be something you can have in your back pocket as a landowner, because everybody's so worried about getting sued or liability, or this could give you a leg up, and it's very reasonable to afford. And so we've got companies like that actually coming to us that I never thought would come to us, you know. And again, I've got a great friend by the name of Dan Lucier, and me and Dan own some land together, and just things have come full circle for me in a few years, and a lot of stuff is happening and opportunities, and I just am really excited now that, you know, American Pride has been started, and that me and Mark can, I don't know, we probably meet at least once or twice every 2 weeks, and have coffee in the mornings and discuss, and, you know, we kind of go over a lot of stuff, and it's just amazing the things we come up with, you know, in those times, you know. And I guess our pledge to you is we're going to keep doing that, and we're going to try to make it great, and I know Mark's going to do the same thing. You know, Whitetail Edge is never going to vary from what we try to bring to you as the viewer, and I know that now with, you know, with what Mark's got going on, it's going to be the same for American Pride and NOVIX and everything else.
It's a lifestyle. Like,
yeah,
it's a lifestyle, right? Put your boots on every day, surround yourself but with good people, and try to make the best decisions you can. Like Ben says, everybody messes up, but correct it. Try to be a good person, and good things always seem to happen. Always, always. It's amazing what the next phone call might be.
Yeah.
You never know. I still remember where I was at when you called me.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's you never know. And I was actually busy, and I looked down, and I was like, I should let that one go to voicemail. I was like, yeah. And then, you know, as soon as it got brought up, and it's a life-changing call is what I'm saying. So
yeah,
if you get up every day, put your boots on, you never know where your life's going to take you.
And Mark had left I didn't really, well, I might have had a cell phone back then, I don't remember, but Mark had left a message on my answering machine, and I got home from the woods that night from logging, and Mel's like, you got an answer machine from some guy down in Knox County, Ohio. And I was like, really? I was like, okay. So I listened to it, and here it was Mark, young guy. He was, how old were you at the time? 18?
I was like 18, yeah. 18.
He was like 18 years old, and left me this message about how he wanted to meet me, and he saw me on Drury's, and, you know, and that's something right there that I owe a lot of kudos to, is the Drury team and the, you know, the family there, because, you know, they gave me a huge opportunity to have a platform to show what I could do. Little did I know I even had the talent I had at killing big deer and bringing it out, but I've learned so much from them as far as filming and producing, and, you know, so I'll always owe Mark and Terry that, like, you know, and they know that. I mean, I've told everybody that ever asked that, like, they gave me that opportunity, and that, you know, for me to be able to branch out and do this on my own, it's a real blessing to deal with people like Masio companies that, you know, also deal with the Drury's, but yet they deal with me too now, and we can stay as a fan. It's just great, you know. And Mossy Oak is, you know, we've got a little thing coming out about Mossy Oak too at some point, but, you know, Mossy Oak is an American company that is so prided on conservation and giving back. You know, that's why it's the camo company I choose. And, you know, we're we've got a new deal coming this year with Osseo Gear with Joe Miles and his team. I don't know if you've never heard of Joe Miles. Look up Joe Miles Hunting. Look up Osseo Gear, ASIO, Osseo Gear. And that's going to be the clothing we're going to be wearing this year. And it's going to be in a mossy oak pattern, the Terragilla. And really excited about that. But just so many good things coming. And, you know, we just got to keep our chins up. A lot of crappy things going on in the world right now. So maybe this kind of stuff and focusing on killing deer and things like that can kind of help derive from those things, and we can keep pounding forward. I don't know.
Yeah.
Go back to the voicemail real quick.
Oh yeah, I got way off track. Sorry about that. So going back to the voicemail, you know, here was Mark talking about, you know, this young kid. He wanted to meet me, and he was really impressed with that deer, and you know, and I'm just sitting here going, okay, you know, like didn't think much of it. Like, sure, you know, I've been nice to everybody. I've never shunned anybody that's ever wanted to talk deer or be a fan or whatever. And at that point in my life, I wasn't really used to that too much because I just started filming deer hunts, and so I wasn't used to being anybody special, and I'm really still not. I try to be very humble about it. But it's just funny how God works. Like, you know, in that one call 22 years ago, and then me calling Mark back, what it has developed and what it has led to. And that's happened so many times in my life with different people, some good, some bad. But, you know, it's just like Dylan sitting there behind us.
Sometimes you wish you would have let it go to voicemail.
Yeah. Like Dylan sitting behind me here, you know. Dylan's like my son, you know, and Dylan's he's 27 right now, but Dylan and I have known each other about 10 years now, and just the things that, you know, me and Dylan have done together. And, you know, he works for Whitetail Edge and Tusco Forestry, our timber company now full time. And, you know, he's learning to buy timber. Just Dylan probably never thought that was going to happen. Did you, Dylan?
No. And it all started with me reaching out to Kenny Bevins.
Yeah. And Kenny's still sniffing people's armpits as he's doing MRIs in Indiana. Sorry, Kenny. The stories that Kenny tells us make us roll laughing in our trucks. It's some of the funniest stories ever. But anyways, we just wanted to bring you a little bit something different. So I hope you've listened to this the whole way through, because I think it's interesting stuff for people to just kind of hear this behind the scenes things and kind of what people's goals are, you know. And I'll just be honest, like with me and Mark, we have other big ideas in the works. We have other things in our sights that may come down the road that could be, we really want to take American Pride and make it something special and almost like a one-stop shop, wouldn't you say, Mark?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well,
or a one-stop shop.
Anything you use to kill that deer from, you know, is what we want to be a part of, right? So we want to be known first and foremost as a Whitetail brand. You know, that's where we want to get that's what we want to be known as the Whitetail brand, right? So from anything that you're going to use to help harvest that deer is something that we want to be a part of, and keep that quality and consistency across the board with every product that we make. And if we can't make it to the quality that we want, then we're probably not going to make it. So it has to,
because there are some things out there that those people have it right, and will probably never venture that direction.
Yeah.
But then there's other companies out there that have it right, that the owners are getting to a point where they're getting older. They've achieved what they want to. Some things, you know, they might want to sell, or they might want to see somebody else take that brand and try to keep going with it. So, you know, we're going to be open to those kind of things and just see where it goes, and, you know. And
always try to support the communities that a lot of you guys live in. So, you know, I mean, it's a big deal. Like, you know, you gotta think about one thing if we make something, we do have to make a few things overseas, but if we make something overseas, you know, we have to send the money overseas. It doesn't come back, so it never gets a chance to make it into your communities, into your school districts, into your churches, into your lives. So the more that you buy from a manufacturer that makes it over there, or the more that we manufacture over there, because of price, is the less money that's available for your children, your grandchildren, and everybody in the U.S. So that's something that I keep in mind. I know that's kind of a weird thought process, but something that I'm a deep thinker and I think about constantly. You know, when I wire that money, it's not going to come back here to us. So you got to think about that.
Yeah, and I think that, you know, like that whole giving back mentality, I think that if anybody in the community that I live in and anybody in the community you live in, I think if anybody was to ask, like, hey, do you know those guys, or do you know that guy, or I guarantee you one of those things is going to be that, you know, oh yeah, you know, because, and we don't, like, I give out of my heart, like, to people that need it or things like that. And, you know, the Bible tells us to do that. And it's not something that you go bragging about, because God doesn't necessarily honor that. Like, if you do it because you want the notoriety or the glorification of it, then it doesn't work the right way. I can just tell you that. So, but you do it because it's the right thing and you want to do it, like helping to take care of a widow, or putting money in somebody's mailbox that you know really needs it and they don't even know where it come from, or giving gift cards to people. Those are the things that mean things to people. And, you know, and I've always prayed about Whitetail Edge that it would be something that that God would bless enough that I could do things for other people. And he's done that. And so it's been pretty cool, you know, and Mark is the same way. I know that, you know, he gives back to his community 10 times over in places and does so many things for different people. And, you know, that's, again, it's American pride. It's just what it is. It's like we just have it. And so hopefully you'll follow us along on the journey as we keep going down the road, and you'll be as excited as we are when we come out with some of the stuff that we hope to do.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining us on this long chat.